Welcome back, everybody, to another episode
Oh,
of Sky U Pod. Trinity, I want to know what you were looking at. You messed up disgusting
I'm
there.
sorry. I was looking at my school email. Usually I listen for the jingle. The opening. Did it play?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
it's
did.
kind of
I didn't
creepy.
hear it. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear it.
You're
I
good.
apologize, listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Sky U Pod. You're going to go for football podcast for the college football huddle, or yeah, the college huddle. Yeah, we're just gonna break down the last Gopher win. They're 6-3 after the 23-20 overtime victory over the Michigan State Spartans. I've been looking online, fella. Lots of mixed reactions and everything, as you both probably know. But first, how are you both doing? Again, sorry for the delay.
No problem. Doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm glad you brought up the reaction because that's actually where I wanted to start. You know what grinds my gears more than it should is because we want Gopher football to grow in fandom and whatnot, but there's a lot more Vikings people online for sure. And to them just chime in and like they were never happy all game, which granted I wasn't either, but like there's all these Vikings people and like Viking burner accounts on Twitter just chime in and be like, I don't know why PJ's celebrating a win over that team in the Big Ten. Like, should have dominated them. Should have, and like these people that know nothing, they tune in. Maybe they watch every other game, and they're ripping. Like they're casual when they're ripping PJ for celebrating in the locker room when he does that after every single win he's ever had here in his whole tenure. Like that bothers me. If you want to criticize like how I feel like we do most of the time is like the coaching. Like, why are we doing this so often? Why are we running five receiver outs in a row when it's not working, and stuff like that? I get it, but like to just be upset that they're celebrating an overtime win against a conference opponent, I thought was ridiculous, to be honest. So, not that you can't criticize. Like I'm sure we're going to get into it here and continue some of our same disappointments, criticisms that we've had in the season. But it just bothers me when these people that honestly, let's be honest, they don't know anything about Gopher football are just chiming in and like crapping on the team for a win. By the way, like it is what it is. Dave's here. Dave says, "Happy we won. Normally we dominate teams like Rutgers, Purdue, and Michigan State. We're not that good, and we're still can be 8-4, 6-3 in the Big Ten. The future looks bright." I think that's a pretty good attitude to have. I think what's tough to nail down about this team is like they just do some plays they look incredible, and then some plays we look totally lost, and there's not really a middle ground found very often. I don't know if we always dominate those teams, Dave, but I get what you're saying. Like we have beat up on some lesser teams in the past. I just think that's harder to do now with the transfer portal being what it is. I think even the bottom teams have a lot of good players,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I would have liked to see a more comfortable victory, but like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that our athletes were way better than Michigan State's. I don't think any of us thought that going into the game or anything. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of all that?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like I feel like there's an attitude of the go like this is the little old Gophers. Like who really cares? But I mean, it's fine if you're not a college football fan or you don't care about college football. But like why are you commenting on it if you really don't know what you're talking about? Because I mean, look around the country. Like you think Florida State fans like they're gonna be
Right.
happy about wins at this point. Clemson's gonna be happy
Yeah.
about
Look
wins
at
at
the
this point.
resources they have.
Like yeah, like it happens everywhere, and there's ups and downs, and yeah, like it's maybe not the season we wanted to be having, but I'd be taking these ugly wins over pretty losses any day. So
Michigan won by 5 over Purdue last Saturday as well. So let's not pretend it's just the Gophers that. I think there's a lot of things to criticize or that it's fair to point out, like coaching style wise and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, these guys get paid to win, so they're going to be happy when they get the win, especially you don't think that meant something to Fleck, like beating Rossi after Rossi,
Right.
dipped down,
Yeah.
and to be able to go out and beat those guys that had left in Soraka and now Rossi, like it means something. Like these guys have
Right.
Yeah.
egos to one extent or the other. They want to beat each other. So I don't have
Yeah.
any problem with the emotion. I guess that was shown.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, there's two. I can be happy with the win and upset at a couple of things. Like that's okay. I feel like, and let me explain. I feel like this year the Gophers have found ways to win when it's gotten close. And yes, you can say these games shouldn't have been close, but at the end of the day, they got it done. And I think you got to tip your cap to the players for kind of sticking in there and just finishing the game, getting it done, getting a win at the end of the day. But on the flip side of it, and I know we're probably going to get there, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but I know this was kind of a topic of discussion during last week's episode for the preview. But I just look at our offensive coordinator, Harbaugh, and I just ask myself, and respectfully, great guy, I'm sure, everything, the whole bit, but is he going to be the guy going forward? I just don't know if he can be. And I know that's kind of another topic. I know we're talking about Michigan State, but I think that if we just look at the game plan against Rossi, who normally is a zone kind of coordinator, and our response to that is kind of running these screens like right into the zone. I just don't really understand that. We kind of just played into Michigan State's, strengths, which
Well, let's
kind of
start.
magnified our weaknesses. But at the end of the day, great win. Happy for the guys. Lots of sacks. Gotta love,
Yeah.
gotta love the sacks. Um, and yeah, that's all I
Let's
got.
start. Let's start with what we liked about our offense against the Sparty defense. We'll start with the positives. Um, we were up 10-0 at halftime. Felt like we left some points out there. Obviously, the close missed kick, which we probably haven't spent enough time talking about how bad the special teams has gotten this year. Again, talk about people that may be looking at a new job or be on the hot seat. I think you can put the. I mean, I don't even know like if it's every special teams coordinator you bring in that's having issues. Is it really the special teams coordinator? I don't know. Like, there's something off there, but you probably should keep trying something different until it works. But anyway, Max, let's start with you. Just what did you like, or what was your overall thoughts on the offense? I guess against Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I liked is that we got to see a lot of Femi Ijiboy, especially in the first half. If I mean, I'm going to jump right into what I didn't like is that we just abandoned that run game that seemed
Yeah.
to be working in the second half. But sticking with what I liked, I mean, I like to see Femi Ijiboy continue, coming in as the number one back today, and that's a kid that's really grown a lot this year. I think he's shown some talent early on, but he always kind of looked maybe a little bit off, or just like a young player would look. Um, but he's really come into his own, and I think he can kind of handle that load. And 17 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown, and he broke off a 49-yard long run. I mean, it's great to have Darius Taylor, but if he's going to be banged up, then it's nice to have a nice stable, especially with Turner, who's out for the year as well. So really like that I saw to Ejeboy. I like that we spread it around to the different receivers. We saw Javon Tracy have a nice little day. You got 7 catches for 61 yards. Brockington also had 6 catches. So I don't know. It seemed like we had a little more productivity offensively, more on the ground than we've been seeing. But again, the fact that it just kind of disappeared in the second half was a big concern.
Well, you had texted that in at one point, Max. So it's like I think it was 5 minutes left, and Ejabo had 3 carries in the second half after 10.
Yeah,
And I get that the bulk of his yards came on that one run, but still, like we weren't doing anything. So why completely go away from really the explosive play you had of the game was Ejabo's run. So I didn't understand that. Um, that also seemed to have more pulling linemen, that play in particular. The one he broke loose, and then we went back to just like a zone, it seemed like, after that. So I'm not in. I know we run a lot of mid zone, inside zone runs, but I don't know. It didn't look like we really tried to use him again. And then, I'll stick into positive. I agree. I thought overall Tracy had a pretty good game. There were some drops for everybody, not just him, but Lindsey didn't have his best game. But again, he's shown again here down the stretch when he needs to have it, he does have it. So that was pretty clutch of him, making two rushing touchdowns for a guy that is pretty immobile. Um, he just finds a way. I really like what we're seeing out of him. I think he does a great job at just having a feel of what needs to be done. He's not perfect yet. It's his first year as a starter, but I thought overall it's a positive step forward for Lindsey just with how he closed the game. Um, I didn't think the offensive line was really a huge issue. I know we couldn't run the ball, but they were, I don't know, like it was a lot of man to man and defense we saw actually out of Michigan State, and we didn't have a whole lot of answers other than like throwing fades, and I mean we drew some PIs, so I guess credit to the receivers there. But I don't know, anything else, Shreddy, that we're missing on as far as like the general feel of the offense.
I think that I agree with you. I think that the line played pretty well. I mean, for what it is, and Feme again. I'm just gonna say he's RB, probably RB1, if not 1A or 1B. Sort of thing that we've seen in the past with the Gophers. He's just a tremendous back. Lindsey, I agree. I think that, over the past game or two, we kind of seen a little regression. And I think he kind of poised himself definitely during this game. He looked better. Got to give him credit for the naked bootleg for the touchdown for the win. Just
You
rolling
think he
out,
was
and
in?
I don't, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
Well, it's inconclusive, right? Like I think if he extends, he's definitely
yeah.
in. But like, there's a
He's
question
a
of
more
like,
natural runner too. He had it a
right?
little easier than what he made it. Like if it was
He
just 4 inches,
he
he might have
really
been in.
held it in
But
tight. He wasn't
well,
gonna
he went out
fumbles.
wide. Like he really went
Yeah,
for the pylon. I think he had a
yeah.
little bit more space there than to begin with.
Oh
But
yeah.
um,
Nevertheless,
And did you
shout
guys
out to
hear
him
them
for doing
talk
that.
about that play call, like how that was called in the huddle?
yeah, I heard the part where Drake Lindsay was talking about how he heard Harbaugh say that he's going to tell Drake to keep it, and then so
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh boy!" Like he said, he perked up basically there, and then he did get told to keep it. He's like, "All right, got to
Yeah,
back it
Right.
up here." And that's cool. I mean, that's
Strong
that was
plays in the
probably
dirt.
yeah, that was probably Greg's best play call of the night. So like here, Dave brought it up here. Not adjusting the second half almost cost us the game. Seriously, Michigan State did and Minnesota didn't. That's 100% what happened. The defense wasn't perfect in the first half, but they got after the quarterback. And then what you saw was Michigan State adjust, a lot more quicker throws, just getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand a lot faster. And on the flip side, like the Gophers had zero adjustment ability. And really, our only thing we had, like what was so infuriating to me was when Michigan State finally tied it up, and like we had to move the ball down the field. And maybe they even took a lead here and made a pump one more time. But the last couple drives before we tied it, where we were so reliant, like we just threw fades. That's all we did was up there playing man. Let's just throw up a fade. It's like he only understands a go route and a drag route, and he thinks that's the only way to beat man coverage and throw quick screens, even though everyone's on a man. And that was infuriating. I thought Harbaugh had a terrible game. We talked about the Rossi versus Harbaugh. You know, from our former source, we know Harbaugh was a pretty confident guy, especially his first year when he got this job, and those two would not go get into it, but like get competitive in like the summer ball camp leading up to the season. Rossi and Harbaugh, I'm talking, and so I mean, Rossi totally outcoached Harbaugh. He had him stuffed in a locker. They couldn't do anything for the majority of the game. So That was disappointing. And then I thought it was weird too. Like all of a sudden, games on the line, and all of a sudden we finally get like Jamison Gears back involved in the game, and Javon Tracy a little bit more again. And it was just like, where were these guys? I don't know. Like we just went away from all of them for so long. I don't think Harbaugh's the guy. And I know we're kind of focused on trying to talk the positive of the offense, but I didn't think Harbaugh did them any favors in this one. Like, and I get he can only do so much if no one can beat man coverage, but like this is his third year now. He's in his third year of control of this offense, and we're still having those issues. So, I mean, talent evaluation. Then, like, I don't know how many times we gotta we gotta talk about this and make up excuses, but I don't know. If I guess according to certain writers, if you're blaming Greg Harbaugh for this one, you're nuts and you don't know what you're talking about. So I guess Greg Harbaugh is a freaking genius, and we shouldn't question anything he does.
I mean, it's crazy that if our receivers can't get separation, we just continue to line them up in formations that are not conducive to creating separation. Nor do we use motion or anything that would ever like help or do anything. We just run basic routes. Yeah.
Like he does nothing to dress it up. Do we ever run a counter or a misdirection, an end around, like something? Like people get creative, and he refuses to. He's got his plays. It's just the hodgepodge of stuff he throws together. I want to get back a little bit to being positive because I saw this tweeted out, and this should give every Gopher fan encouragement here. This is what Drake Lindsay has done, because kind of about the media, this is Tony Liebert said, how did Minnesota win all three of these games? And it's a screenshot of three games. It's Rutgers up 28-24 over the Gophers with 6 minutes left. Purdue up 7 with still 14 minutes left, so I'm not sure why I include that. But then Michigan State up 7 with 1:52 left. This is from MSP Athletics, tweeted this out, so props to them for getting these stats. Drake Lindsay, Rutgers game-winning drive, 6 of 7, 72 yards, a touchdown. Purdue tying drive, 3-yard rush on 4th and 2, also 5 for 9 for 44 yards and a touchdown. Michigan State tying drive, 5 for 6, 30 yards, 2-yard rushing touchdown. Michigan State winning drive, 3-yard rush off the boot in overtime. Like, Lindsay is a gamer. And so, at least, as unhappy as I am with Harbaugh, at least when the game's on the line, we are putting it into Drake's hands, who is the most consistent, I think, offensive player. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about the offense at this point. I don't think it's a very good offense as far as schemes. I mean, all of a sudden Michigan State started gashing us in the run because of tweaks they made. I haven't seen – when have the Gophers done that? Really, in any of Harbaugh's games, when is a time where it's like, hey, this game plan's not working too well, let's go in and we come out and we're able to all of a sudden run the ball? Like, he's never able to fix that. In fact, the only thing we have is like taking advantage of bad secondaries, which you should do, obviously, like Rutgers and Purdue and whatnot. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I think Dave's onto something there. I just don't think I don't think Greg has the X's and O's to be the guy long term. But
yeah. I was doing some research, and I'm just going to look at particularly the running game, which is PJ's bread and butter since he's gotten here, right? Like, running the football is the staple at the University of Minnesota. Greg Harbaugh takes over in 2023. Rushing offense is 65th in the nation in 2023. The next year drops to 109th, and now this year it's 118th at 110 and a half yards per game. Not only that, I know I'm focusing on the running game here, but the passing offense and scoring offense is worse than it was last year as well. There has just been a decline in offensive statistics, and you're at the bottom of the Big Ten. We're not really seeing that improvement. And to your point about maybe talent, Kurt, okay, so if people question the talent, I feel like, people are coming in and year out, as you do in college athletics, with graduation, transferring, etc. But the problem is still the problem. And I feel like our recruiting has gotten better throughout PJ's time here. I don't think it's a talent issue. I just think it's a coaching issue. And again, I'm sure Coach Harbaugh is a very nice guy. I just don't know if he's the guy for this job because I just feel like we're missing something. The Gophers, they're winning every game that they probably should win, maybe besides the Cal game. Like they are ending up winning these games. And finally, I think that the Gophers have the most sacks in the Big Ten. Like finally, we do have a solid line. It is crazy to think about. I mean, like, I feel like it's all there. We're just not putting it together, which is a coach's job to do. And I wanted to see how it kind of flourished throughout the year here. I'm not sold anymore, fellas. I'm out on the Greg Harbaugh experience.
Well, I am too. I will say this offense in particular, like almost everybody outside of the tight ends, I think can come back, and Lemecki Brockington. Other than that, and we don't utilize the tight ends enough, in my opinion. So it's like it's a loss, but maybe not as big of a loss as it should be. I think Gears is an above average receiving tight end, and like I said, he's become the Lemecki this year, where it's like, okay, we need kind of an important play, got it, and then he just disappears again in the game. But it is what it is. To your point, like look at last year's offensive line. Like that was a seasoned, like veteran offensive line with Carroll, who we thought might have a chance at getting drafted. I'm forgetting our guard. Oh, we wanted to try him at guard. Um, and then we had Lewis. I might have the name wrong, but who's the guy that's at Northwestern now, who's having like a really good year and like couldn't find
Is that
his way into the
Martez
rotation
Lewis?
here? Yeah, Martez Lewis. Um, so
Philip
that's a guy.
Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, Ursery, like we had a lot of talent on last year's O line, and we still couldn't run the ball. Is my point. And like Martez Lewis isn't the only guy Greg Harbaugh hasn't been able to figure out how to use. He couldn't use either of the Western Michigan transfers in his first year, and we blamed the quarterback. It's like, okay, he also couldn't use Brevin Spann-Ford or make Brevin Spann-Ford a serviceable tight end, and Brevin Spann-Ford's in the NFL now. Like every Sunday, he's legit playing for the Cowboys. It's not a, I mean, so, and Max Brosmer. We went 7-5 with Max Brosmer, who's legitimately on the Vikings roster. He's their backup quarterback. So it's not like he hasn't had talent to work with. That's why I would be um, concerned. Is all of the pieces that we've seen kind of work before he was the main guy and didn't work once he was the guy, and guys that have moved on and had success without him now that they're not from. I think he's got plays and he can't adjust it to players at all. That's why I think it's funny when the media's like, well, he's down to running back 3 and Feme Ejeboy. Feme Ejeboy is just as good of a running back on running plays as Darius Taylor, if not better, this year. Like, quit pretending that Feme Ejeboy is running back 3. Like, yeah, people had high hopes for AJ Turner. Who didn't? Me, because Greg Harbaugh doesn't know how to use speed running backs. He runs them between the tackles over and over again. He did it with the first guy from Western Michigan, and now he's I forget the guy's name. And that guy also fumbled a lot. So I'm not saying like we should have kept giving him the ball. I'm just saying that Harbaugh doesn't know how to like adjust plays to people's skill sets. He's just got his plays, and then he just tries to get the best collective players, which I guess you should do. But like some coaches have certain things schemed up for certain guys, and like I guess we are only allowed to do that for Coy. Like I don't understand. Like there's no one else that just has stuff schemed up for them. You have guys on this roster that you hear about their speed in the offseason, and yet it's another year where they're not on the field. And I don't understand why there's not just certain plays in there for those guys. So that's all the stuff. I'm really piling on here. And we're at 26 minutes into this episode and haven't touched on the defense yet. But anyone else want to just wrap a ribbon on the bow, wrap the ribbon on this offensive performance for Michigan State before we move on?
helps too when you fumble twice and one goes out of bounds and the other one you recover yourself.
Yeah,
We got
that was
and throughout the whole game, offense and defense, we got some breaks that went our way, which I know you got to have. Every team's gonna have those at some point, but crazy that every single bounce seemed to go our way this game. That helped us.
yeah.
But
All right, well, if
No
we
other
move,
comment from me.
yeah, if we move on over to the defense, it started out okay. You know, it was probably masked the first half a little bit by some drops, right? That one in particular where he overthrew the guy that we were kind of late getting over to, and then just the bust in coverage where he flat out dropped the touchdown, followed up by the missed field goal. So I don't know, like all that happened, and yet I still felt like we were dialing up enough pressure. Right, 6 sacks in the first half. I was like, here we go again. It's gonna be the Nebraska game. And did we have any sacks in the second half? Anyone have that up in front of them?
Let's
I
see.
suppose the box
I'm
score
not
does, but
sure.
anyway, they completely adjusted, and all of a sudden, fellas, that we've talked about a lot, just that pass coverage. When we don't get home, this pass coverage is struggling. I mean, that first touchdown of the second half, those are two of your best players on defense, Gooseby and Kerry Brown. Just okay. It's one thing if you give up the long, it's 3rd and 6, I believe, at that point, deep in their own end, and you give up like a 30, 25-yard pass to convert. That's one thing. But to both just do a flyby and not even like touch them, or like it was just so poorly played, and then he's just turning off to the races. And that was an obvious hold on them, by the way, too. It wouldn't have mattered, but for them crying up, that's for Michigan State fans crying about flags, which to an extent I get, but like there were some things like going on both sides. It's just what I was getting at there. That's what's concerning to me about the defense, though. It's just like we have our best players not playing super well, and I know it's tough when I think a lot of it's probably the cornerback play, and we're injured there and banged up, and they did, and Michigan State's got some guys, so I'm not trying to harp on them too much, but it's just, especially in zone coverage, they're nowhere near the guy a lot of the time. So we brought up the sack rate, and we're leading the Big Ten in sacks, and I think part of that's just because we're blitzing a ton because we have to try and get home, otherwise we can't cover them. And if we got to play man coverage and blitz, and I think that's what Danny Collins been doing because he's like, this is our best shot to get off the field, and so that's great. Like, keep doing it. I'm scared to know where this defense would be if Anthony Smith wasn't on it. And I know we have some other guys showing up. Carter Mintz is having a nice year. Carter Mintz is 8th in the Big Ten in sacks, which and Anthony Smith is tied for number 1. Like, if you tell us that preseason, we're a top 20 defense in the country, like hands down, like no doubt. And
Right.
unfortunately, it's just like I don't know. I will say this: like the linebackers are pretty good. Like they're disciplined at least. They're not really messing up too much. Again, their zone drops could be better, like all of them, but I don't think they're the main reason for the poor pass, um, poor pass defense. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on the defense? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, kind of same thing. It's like if you look at the opposing quarterback, they started their backup too, which that kid had a great game. If I'm being honest, I mean,
Yeah.
we knew he was more of a passer and not really going to use his legs a whole lot. But if you tell me we got 7 sacks in the game, I'm not expecting to see 20 completions on 28 attempts for 311 yards. Like
That dude stood in there and took
he
shots.
did, he really did. So he had a great game. Um, But yeah, I mean, you alluded to it, Kurt. Like the secondary is really banged up, and guys were getting hurt in the game too. I mean, it was kind of a mess throughout. So I know it wasn't going to be our best pass defense performance, but like, yeah, just the random busts in coverage, the random just. It felt like most of the game we were tackling well and playing physical, and then a couple of those big runs were when we just missed. Like multiple guys would miss
Yeah.
tackles, and I don't know. It seems like game to game, it's either we don't tackle or we do. And this one seemed like 90% of the time we were, and then the times we didn't, they ripped off like 90-yard runs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed to always bite us the worst when we had our off plays. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it feels like in comparison to the offense, like the defense has got guys everywhere, and they're kind of just let loose to go make plays, and they're just the D line's making a lot of them. At least last game they were. Um, I feel like at linebacker we're probably deeper than we maybe expected. I know we knew we had Mav. I think after that it was kind of up in the air, but I feel like Devin Williams is having a really good year for what
Yeah, he
he's
is.
been. We knew he had potential, but I think we talked about in the preseason, he was always a guy where it was like he's got all the physical abilities, he's just got to get in the right spot or speed it up a little bit, and he's done that and then some, and played really
Yeah.
physical. So I think Williams had a really good year and had a good game as well. And the same with Matt Kingsbury. That dude just flies around. So D line solid, linebackers deeper than we expected. We still have Coy Parrish, Kerry Brown, Aiden Gooseby, and Darius Green, who's out there just hitting people. I think he did. I think he hurt himself. But yeah, then it all just comes down to corner, who we're thin at. We lose Zaquan Bryan in pregame warmups. He hurts his shoulder somehow. And yeah, it's like those little. It's like we just still don't have we don't have it all gelling for whatever reason. Like it feels like we got guys everywhere, and they're just not always making the plays that we expect them to. Whereas like compared to the offense, it feels like we've got the same amount of guys. They're not let off the leash. The defense is let off the leash, and when they make the plays, like we saw what we did against Nebraska. It's just I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a scheme thing or just mental thing. I have no idea. Guys are playing in different positions with injuries. I have no idea. Like it just randomly looked sloppy.
It's
Yeah.
just a
Do you
real
guys think?
exactly.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Kurt.
Shreddy. Oh, I was just gonna say that like it seems weird to be hitting this so badly in year 9, where like we're struggling with like you would think the guys even that have been here 2 to 3 years that they would understand like the zone drops. It'd be one thing if we're just getting like out athleted the whole time by these better receivers. It's like,
Right.
okay, well that's just a miss in recruiting. But like we're nowhere near the receiver sometimes. It's the eyes are all over the place and not in a good way. Like we're never like locked in on the right spot, it feels like in our especially zone
Right.
coverage. So and we're better in man, so that kind of shows you it's not just like an athlete thing. Um so yeah, I don't know. That's what I was gonna say. What was gonna be your question, Spencer?
Kind of just like a question for you both, because I honestly don't know. Because I feel like it changes from play to play. Is this defense good or bad? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not. I really don't. Okay, maybe not bad. Like, or
No,
good,
it's
because I don't really know. Like, and it's like a play to play thing. Like on one hand, you're getting sacks. You're most sacks in the Big Ten. That's awesome. But on the other hand, this game we gave up 467 yards, total yards on defense. We only gave up 17 points. So it's like it's really kind of it's just like a weird situation. And like you said, Max, I think we have a lot of studs that are, playing out there. And yeah, maybe at least in this past game, maybe with the new quarterback out there, kind of a different feel. He's trying to show something else, and they're trying different things to get their offense going. So maybe it was tough to adjust to that, but I don't know. I mean, like Coy, one of our best players, but he kind of, got beat, when their receiver got behind him and, you know, got that long throw and almost got a touchdown. I think he was inside the 10 or something. Um, but again, like, on the next few plays after that, I think we only forced him to 3. So it was like, we're just letting up big
yeah.
plays sometimes, but we're also doing pretty well. It's just not consistent where I thought
Mm-hmm.
that, with the Rossi defenses, it was a bend, but don't break. I feel like here it's more aggressive, but it breaks a little more often, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. I think you asked about if we're good. I think we're good at some things. We're good at blitzing the quarterback, like bringing 5-man. I think 5-man pressure is
Which is
pretty good
different,
now.
right? Like we didn't really blitz in years
I mean,
past.
Heatherman blitzed a lot,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
we're seeing why. Like maybe that's why. But he also had Justin Wall and Ethan Robinson. who had really good years at corner last year. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, to be honest. Um, and I think like all the man coverage you're seeing, I think that's why you're not seeing as many plays maybe out of Coy and Gooseby and Carey Brown that you're used to seeing. I mean, they're still making plays, but when you're in man coverage and like Carey Brown is playing slot or nickel, whatever you want to call it, a lot of the time, so he's manned up. Coy is literally like playing the true meaning of safety, where like he's supposed to be over the top of the deepest guy, and so if like he sees this guy breaking deep and he goes and covers him, then there's somebody else breaking out over there. Like they're actually playing safety. It's not zone coverage where they're just responsible for a zone and they don't have the ability to jump as many routes is what I'm trying to get at. So I think that's part of it. So and we're like when we're geared up for the run, like when we know the run's coming, I feel like we're pretty solid at it outside of Iowa. But yeah, I don't know. That's a really dumb answer, but that's just how this that's just how they're playing. Like when they know the run's coming, they're pretty solid. And when we're bringing 5 or more against the passer, we're pretty good. But if they pick it up, or if we rush 4 and we're in zone, it's not a very good defense. So, and I don't think like people look at the offense and say the future's bright. We're losing a lot of key guys here on defense too, and especially up front. Anthony Smith, Devin Eastern. I mean, I know he's not having the best year, but Jalen Logan Redding is one of your better guys up front too. Um, so I don't know. Max, I'll let you jump in too here, but I just want to say too, like up front, Devin Eastern had a great game. He just got named a PFF's like first defensive of the week with how well he played. Um, but I also want to shout out Austin Becker. It's Austin, right? I think it's Austin Becker. Or is it Nate? It's Nate.
I think it's Nate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nate. Nate Becker. He had a great game too, and he's kind of the last few games getting some push and showing up in the backfield. And for a guy that's really getting first legitimate playing time, he's a guy that's technically a senior, but I think he's got one more year of eligibility. I really hope he comes back because I think he'll definitely have a role next year with what he's been showing. So that was a lot, but Mac, go ahead, add anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess like to your question, Spencer, like are they a good defense? And I think they're solid. They just it just seems like they have these lapses at the most inopportune times in games, and it ends up being costly. And I don't know. It seems like game to game, it's never consistent either. Like it's never the same people, it's never the same positions, it's never the same problems. It's whether it's containing the quarterback or coverage or tackling or whatever. Like
it makes me
the problem
feel
seems to
nervous.
rotate.
Makes me feel nervous that it's coordinator related again. And that
it is, and that's kind of where I was looking at. Like, I'm just wondering if we have just a dual coordinator issue, and
I think we do. Personally, I
and
think
so,
we do. And I could understand if Danny Collins is still growing into it. I don't know if I want to wait for that. Like if Joe Rossi becomes available because Michigan State makes a move at the end of the year, which it sounds like they're leaning that way. I don't know. Do you go back out and ask for Rossi to come back like you did Kirk Soraka? I might.
I think so.
But I would want Rossi to also lean into the blitz a little bit more, but he doesn't do that. So I don't know. Like I'm not as high on Rossi as I was before he left, but I still think he would be better than what we have. And he's got a system, and I think he does put together a good game plan. I do think he does that.
Yeah, it's just I think this off season is going to be I know this is looking ahead. Yeah.
Do you think PJ is going to move on from Danny Collins at all after this year?
I don't think so, but I think that he should really consider it.
Maybe
I think he should.
Closet. Best for sleeping, by the way. He slept in the closet. That's a story.
Yeah. Take a nap, buddy. I think he should seriously consider. I think PJ needs to seriously consider it. It's just, and here's the thing, fellas. Like, I know that people say, well, what, like, I've seen this too online. Well, what about PJ? But I feel like he's been kind of changing the way he does things a little bit too. I feel like he's gotten a little more aggressive. Like, he will try and go for it. He's not that ultra conservative as he is. I feel like the usage of time, I remember using timeouts was a problem for him. I haven't really seen that this year. And I'm pleased with how, you know, he's coaching this football team. I just think, and I think we've said this on the show, he doesn't seem like the X's and O's kind of guy, but he does get you to drink the Kool-Aid. And I think that he does a good job at that. I just think he needs maybe new guys to sort of steer the offensive defenses in a way that's more successful.
Well, if we have the same issues again next year, that it is a PJ problem. I mean, I think
Right.
a lot of it could be considered PJ's problem right now. You're in year 9. You haven't had receivers creating separation since 2019. Yeah, it is a PJ issue, but maybe part of the reason we're not ripping PJ as much on the show. I'm not saying he should be fired. I wouldn't fire him, but I will say, like, he's not gonna get fired. We're not especially with all the positions out there available. Like, the Gophers aren't gonna pay money to fire PJ to then try and compete with LSU, Penn State, gosh, UCLA, all these. You know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't make any sense. And not that I want us to do that necessarily. It's just we've we've seen PJ work when he's had the right coordinators in place, and I just don't think that's in place right now. But he is getting nice recruits overall. Obviously, there was a stretch here that missed a little bit, and that's why we're so thin at corner, defensive front. I think it's probably why the O line is struggling here. But the O line's young, so, like, yeah, the offense is all coming back, but the defensive line, I think, is like got some pieces, but you got to find interior guys that can play and fast, because we don't. Who's a young interior guy that we see get rotated in? We don't really. So that's something to watch for. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if we had coordinators just with, like, experience, like, Harbaugh is basically only in his 3rd year of being a play caller. Danny Collins is his first. Like, it shows.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
And I know they got to start somewhere, but, like, is this it? Like, is this really where you want to do that? Because you've had NFL talent, and we have not played up to that potential.
No, I mean, looking back at last year's team and what those guys are doing in the NFL, yeah, it's disappointing though. But we were saying that last year, where it was like, wow, we left a lot of meat on the bone, and at the time, I feel like it wasn't being seen that way because everyone was expecting us to fold because it was the Big Ten West was over, you know. And now this year, like, I don't know. I've seen some people say that we're overachieving this season because our roster's not that good. I don't believe that at all. Like, I thought we were better than Rutgers overall, at least in the trenches. Same with the Nebraska. Same with Purdue. Although the Purdue trench battle didn't go our way at all, but we still found a way to win. I think the most puzzling one we won out of all of them is the Purdue game, to be honest. Like, that one I really thought we were donezo. Even when Michigan State took the lead, I wasn't feeling good, and I thought we were gonna lose, but I didn't feel as defeated as I did in the Purdue game. But
well, yeah, that Purdue game was bad everywhere. There was no like glimmer of hope. At least, like, Michigan State at least was like, well, the defense is giving up big plays, but they played pretty well. The offense, we saw some life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, Gophers got out coached, but at the end of the day, the players came through and made enough plays to get the dub. And hey, we're going to a bowl game, baby. That's always nice. And now it's all about what bowl can you get.
Quick lane.
3 games left.
Detroit.
Get get out of Detroit. I want to see, how about the Music City Bowl? I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably got to win a couple more. But Co says, I thought 7-5 at the beginning of the year, and I think that's where we land.
So that means we either lose
Probably.
to Northwestern or Wisconsin.
I mean, we haven't won a road game, so I wouldn't be shocked if we lose either of those, to be honest, at this point. I will say this, the Wisconsin game, for whatever reason, even when we don't win it, PJ always seems to be up and ready to go, as he should, and like have something just a little bit different. Like that's the game, for whatever
He
reason. He's always
does.
got a little bit extra
Opens,
zip,
yeah, you're right.
but I don't know. We should really take that attitude to Iowa next time because that game's been a disaster. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, Co says the road game blues is where I'm hung up. It's been brutal, and I don't understand why the defense hasn't traveled. Like the defense has been really bad on the road. It's like we don't get sacks on the road. I'm trying to think. We didn't get any sacks against Ohio State. Did we get? I didn't even look at the box score at the end. Did we sack Iowa at all?
Maybe. I don't know.
I had it turned off before we even did anything on defense.
So, anyway, it's just been a different it's been a different team on the road, and so, yeah, it's got to be fixed. And again, I think that's for people that don't think we're criticizing PJ enough. I think that's definitely something you could point out. Like you're in year 9 and you don't have your team showing up to road games yet. Like that's a little bit, and not that that's been an every year thing, but like why is this team that's I guess young, but it's got a lot of vets. Like the whole defense has pretty much been here, even if they're a first year starter. They've been here a long time. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I could see the offense having a shaky start, but like 3 points against Iowa, that's embarrassing. And I know it's a good defense, but that's terrible. The Ohio State game's one thing, but the Iowa game, just the sleepiness of the Cal game too. Um, it is what it is. I just think it's a coordinator issue. I do, but we've harped on that long enough. I think.
Yeah. Throughout this whole year, though, I mean, it is just one of those weird years where outside of Nebraska and Northwestern State, which that game doesn't really count, like every other game has been stressful and like disappointing in some way.
Well, yeah,
It's like wearing on. I don't know how. I mean, it's got to be wearing on the players too. And that's. I guess that's a positive or like a plus for PJ's. He's got his guys still playing hard most of the games, but
yeah. Well, I do
like sitting
think
on my
that
couch, I just feel worn out from watching
there
this
were a
Right.
lot of
team.
games last year where it was back and forth and close and stuff, and I just think that's how I think that's from the transfer portal. Like I think when you separate
That's
the
just
top
college
tier of
football.
the Big Ten, I think a lot of those teams can beat anybody, and so when you
Yeah.
just throw them out
Yeah,
there every Saturday, it's you get a lot of what we're getting. And I mean, to PJ's credit, we're winning the one score games this year. So, but yeah, Coach says I put a lot of the defense on our OC at times as well. We are behind the 8 ball every game because we haven't scored a point on our first drive of the game, so we're constantly playing from behind. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to get me on board with wanting a new OC. I mean, gosh, I think we've been talking about it from the get go. I don't know. Like, we haven't been really that impressed with them. And yeah, Michigan State's defense, I think, was 85th coming into that game, 83rd, something like that. Second worst in the Big Ten. And even the first drive of the game, I know it was a 3-and-out, and we had drops, though, so I didn't put that one on Harbaugh. I think we still had 3 others in the game of just 3-and-outs, putting the defense right back on the field. So, yeah, no, it's a huge issue. And not everything has to result in points, but gosh, like that's why there's this stat that keeps getting brought up about Gophers starting offensive field position and how the defense hasn't gotten them starting field position inside the opposing team's 40 and like I don't know, like 150 possessions or something. I don't know. Ryan Burns is always bringing it up, but like Yeah, like a turnover deep in the other team's zone is nice, but like when is the other team starting deep in their zone? We're punting it into the end zone, shanking the punt, and also going 3 and out and punting back from our own 25, literally all the time. So, yeah, it'd be great to get more of those turnovers deep in the other zone, but my goodness, like if the offense could be a little bit more consistent moving the ball and giving the defense a chance to get one of those turnovers deep in the opposing offense territory, like that would help out too. Like the way he always throws it out there and acts like this is a huge defensive problem, it makes me think that his intel guy is definitely Greg Harbaugh, but that's okay. Yeah, hey, listen, Ryan Burns, I enjoy listening to his pod because he knows the most of what's going on. So yeah. Anyways,
When does it ever go?
yeah, go ahead, punt
I
defense.
think Tom's been better than what we've had. Let's put it
Well,
that
I
way.
felt that way until the last 2 games. The last 2 games have been brutal. He's regressed.
Yeah. He had one nice
So
little delayed, like he got to hold it, punted when there was coverage.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I just want a beast punter one time. That'd be great. And I don't count Peter Mortel's 30-yard punts that within sometimes roll another 15 and he won like Big 10 punter of the week so many times just because it was like these line drive dribblers that the returner couldn't get up to return in time and just bounced and rolled back there. But I guess I didn't know what I would miss now that we're here at this point. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. Let's move on for a second. We're Gophers are 6-3. Could go 9-3. I want 8-4. 8-4 with wins against Northwestern, Wisconsin. You can be like, all right, hey, there's a lot that went bad this year, but hey, we got to 8-4. It was ugly, but it still gives you hope. 7-5 is just like, especially if the 7-5 is with a loss to Wisconsin at the end. That's going to be a tough pill
Yeah.
to swallow. So
Think about next year, going into next year, if we play like we finally show up on the road and beat Northwestern soundly, and then we win the Axe in very solid fashion. Like we're feeling pretty good. Like if we finish with a good taste in our mouths, I
yeah,
feel like the season is redeemed. Like we still have the opportunity to do it. We have the players to do it, but they got to prove it at this point.
Yeah, and then 8-4 isn't bad. Does that mean like PJ would be like, let's give it another shot next year with what we have and just go from there?
yes,
Like,
yes, he would. Well, he fired Mike Sanford after an 8-4 season.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's not firing Greg. He loves Greg because Greg's been with them all this time, and Greg did find Drake Lindsay. So that's
right on, man.
yeah, that's that. All right, let's move on to our second topic, fellas. We've been going on and on about the coaching staff, which I mean, I guess that was kind of we were gonna ask Shody his opinion on Harbaugh, but we got it. So, um, college football playoff rankings dropped tonight. I sent you a picture, Max. I don't know if it's possible to bring that up here, so our viewers can also look along with us. If
Let
not, it's
me.
okay.
Yeah.
While you
Give me
work
one
on
second.
that, I'll read it here really quick. Okay. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, A&M. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia. 6, Ole Miss. 7, BYU. 8, Texas Tech. 9, Oregon. 10, Notre Dame. Other Big Ten teams ranked. You have USC at 19, Iowa at 20, Michigan at 21, Washington at 23. Not bad. I don't know what we're watching to think Oregon's 9. I would have them over BYU. I would have them over Ole Miss. And people say that's just because they didn't beat anybody, but I mean, they beat Penn State when Penn State had a pulse and was still alive this season and had all like everyone acknowledges that's a good roster. So and they should
Yeah.
have they controlled that game for 90% against Penn State too. Like and then all of a sudden that game got tight. So
Would you put, out of curiosity, Kurt, would you put Texas Tech over Oregon?
personally, I don't think I would, but I can understand that one a little bit more because their one loss came with their backup quarterback, I believe, still. And they, other than that game, I feel like for the most part they've been rolling. So
Yeah. I do feel
I'm
like this. Like, I agree with you on the Oregon point. Um, Maybe, yeah, I guess they haven't played a ton of people, but at the same time, their one lot, it was at home, but against the number 2 team in the country out of
yeah,
Indiana, who
yeah, but
you
that
are ranking as Indiana is number 2. So I would feel like that
yeah
loss would probably be better than the rest of the losses if you're
we have
going by that logic as the committee.
we have forgiven Alabama for getting boat raced by Florida State,
Right.
and I'm not saying we necessarily shouldn't, but like, what are we doing here? I think Oregon could beat Bama. I think Oregon could absolutely beat Bama. I think Oregon. Yeah, I think Oregon's the fifth best team right now.
Yeah.
I could have them
Also,
at 5.
I gotta say, them Irish fellas, like
At number 10.
they're a good team. I agree. They look great, but like, can we reward people for being a good team but having losses? Like, I don't know if that's something that we should be able to do. Like, again, I know that they're a stud, whatever, but it's like you're like, you guys are pretty dang good, but you have losses on the seasons. I just don't know. And it's against Miami, who's back down at 18, one of your losses. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know.
Well, the same
I
can be
think
said for Texas too. Like if you have Notre
Yeah,
Dame at
that
10 and Texas at 11, like Notre Dame smokes Texas. Like I'm sorry, like
yep.
Texas has no business being. I don't know that I even have them in the top 20 at this
And
point. Like,
Tennessee and Missouri have beaten nobody, and
yeah,
they are there because they started so high in the preseason. So, to Kirk Herbstreit and all those bitches at ESPN that tell you not to complain about preseason rankings and rankings that start the year because it'll all work itself out. Every year, it happens every year, and we've talked about this every year. Like, they do matter because what's the committee go? Oh well, Missouri beat at the time number what was it, 16 Missouri or I'm sorry, number 16 South Carolina or whatever they were at the time. Like, I think that's their win. I don't know. Like, I, it's ridiculous. And Tennessee just being at 25, who has literally beat nobody. Tennessee, go look
right.
at Tennessee's schedule.
They
It,
lost 3 games. Like,
yeah, I mean
yeah,
you could throw a lot of teams in there at 25, so I'm not like gonna sit here and throw a fit, but like the fact that it's an SEC team and it's Tennessee, it's just like exactly. It's just like, yeah, here's a 3-loss SEC team to close it off here. Ridiculous. I
to go
I
back to Oregon, Texas Tech too. I was looking at getting this picture up here. Who like didn't Texas Tech lose to Arizona State? Was that their
Texas
loss?
Tech did, yes. But that was like when the quarterback was still healthy and everything on the road. Like, I don't think that's a bad loss,
Sure,
personally.
but Oregon lost to Indiana. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what I'm saying. Like I have no problem with Texas Tech being high, but like, wait, in what world is Oregon behind them? They definitely shouldn't be behind BYU.
Yeah.
Like Ole Miss
And like all
played
these
Georgia
teams that they thought
close.
were bad, like Northwestern's actually looking like a solid team too, and all
Right,
these other that Oregon's beat. So
right. And Oregon definitely doesn't have like the best resume either. I'm not saying they should be like top 5 necessarily based on just other teams, but like it just doesn't make any sense, I guess, when you look at it. Like you said about Alabama having their loss forgiven against Florida State, which I feel like we saw coming a mile away. Like that always happens.
yeah, Yeah, I mean, I get it, kind of, but like the fact that it's okay, we'll give you Ohio State, and Indiana, but then we're gonna stuff one, two, three, four SEC teams in right here, who have all like beaten one but lost to the other in this little.
Right.
Yeah,
I think the only one that is correct is A&M.
right.
Like, I would probably have. I mean, you can make the argument, I guess, for any of the. I guess it would have to be Alabama at 4 if you're going to put one of them at 4. But then I feel like Oregon's 5th easily. Like, if we're going off of
Yeah.
who we think's going to be who. But
Dave says Missouri and Tennessee are the most overrated SEC schools. I agree. I actually thought Missouri was an okay team last year. I know that's not a bold statement, but I just think based off last year's how they're still being propped up. No G5 schools ranked either, probably waiting near the end of the year for them. Yeah. Um, and I don't even know how does that
you know, really
how does
screwed the
that
pooch with
work?
Memphis.
Yeah. Yeah. How does that work if none of them are ranked in top 25? Like, does the CFP have like a past 25 that's ranked to grab one, or do they just go off like the coaches and AP poll to grab the group of 5 team for the playoff? You know what I mean? Like if they don't rank any of them, I'm sure they will. By the end, they'll throw somebody in there, but
I just think ranking fellas is just useless, to be honest. I know you do it because it gets people talking, it gets people, invested and interested in college
yeah,
football. So I get it from like a business standpoint. But like at the end of the day, like we just want to know who's going to make it. So to me, it's like make these decisions, at the end of the conference championship, and then let us know, all right, based on these winners, they got to be in, and oh, these runner ups should be in. And well, this team just has 1 or 2 losses. They could have been in the championship, but they weren't. But, like, because like right now, it's just, it's useless. To me, it just doesn't do anything for us.
I'll say this: I think USC versus teams 4 and down is a much better game than Bama and Georgia versus Ohio State, Indiana. I think USC could beat Georgia, Ole Miss, all those teams. Not saying they would. I'm just saying I think I think Ole Miss USC is a closer game than Ole Miss versus Ohio State.
Yeah. The one team that stands out is like, wait, what? Um, if you watched, I know Virginia's got some decent wins, but if you've watched how they've won, they've boy, we've had some things break our way as the Gophers season's gone. Virginia is boy, I don't know
Living on
what
a
kind of
prayer.
ritual they did before the season, but they have had no business winning some of those football games,
They
especially
beat
against
Louisville, didn't
Louis.
they?
They did, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
If you watch it, Louisville didn't play their best either, but Louisville just lost. I'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, hey, I mean, whatever gets you there. And so like that one's like you kind of deserve it then at some point, even if you don't think they're the best, they got to be up there somewhere. Dave disagrees with
Right.
you, Shooty. It gives perspective on what other teams need to do to get in the playoffs. Yeah, you're right, Dave.
Yeah,
I think
that
Shooty's
makes
is
sense.
more of
But
just of a feeling towards it of how like
yeah,
it's so we're tired of getting worked up over these things that they throw out here and they don't know ball, but we know ball.
Dave's right. Virginia beat North Carolina, by I think by 1.
Yeah. Hey, that team looks like they might be waking up a little bit though. They're slowly starting to
right on
find.
time.
Yeah. Don't let Bill Belichick get his second wind because I don't know. I'm going with that. They look better. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, it is what it is. I think you have the top 4. I think the top my top 5 as far as who I truly think are the best teams in college football right now would be Oregon, Indiana. And then in any order, really, I guess I'd put A&M 3, and then I'd probably put Oregon 4 and Bama 5 as far as who I think are the best 5 teams. I think that's what I would have it.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then after that, I would throw probably Texas Tech, maybe Georgia. Georgia can't really get home with their pass rush right now, though, so that's kind of an interesting one. And I will admit, I have seen one BYU game all year, so maybe BYU is legit. They're clearly it's going to be one of maybe them. And do you think? I'll say this: do you think BYU and Texas Tech can both get into the playoff?
They should. It's
I
gonna
don't
be
think
hard.
so. Well,
So,
it
like,
depends because
do they have to play
this
each
week.
other? Oh,
They
they
play this
do.
week.
Oh, so probably not then, huh?
Oh, gotcha.
So I think Tech would have to beat BYU, and then I feel like BYU would have to win the Big 12 for them both. So I guess you're right. They could, but it would really have to
Yeah, I'm
play
just
out.
saying, like, how many are? Let's see, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 teams? So are 5 SEC teams getting in then?
Looks like it.
But there'll have to be,
Some of those teams still play each other.
yeah.
I think
Like, I don't know. Well,
Texas still has A&M at the end of the year. I think.
yeah.
So, like,
Unless they don't
again,
play
like,
this year.
these teams are gonna lose. Like, there will be shakeups. I just don't know how. Like, that's why I'm like, it doesn't really make. I
Oh,
can't come to a conclusions right
yeah,
now.
this is gonna sort itself out. Texas still
Yeah,
plays Georgia and Texas A&M. So Texas is either going to prove that they're going to jump back into the top 10 and be forgiven for their early season struggles, or they're going to get blown out. So I want to see Georgia's remaining because Georgia, who's interesting here is Georgia Tech, and if they can find a way to claw back into the ACC, because they have Georgia at the end, so they could make a strong case if they can get to that game and survive and beat Georgia, like they might lock up an auto bid. Yeah, is what I'm trying to say without even winning the
Right.
ACC. Or
Yep.
not lock up an auto bet, I should say, not at large bid. But yeah, I mean it is good storylines. I gotta hand it to them. The expanded playoff does create more storylines for teams vying their way in. And I mean, hey, if you're Iowa, you're thinking if we can just beat Oregon, USC, and I think Nebraska. I think that's their last 3 games. And then I don't know how I guess they can't get into the Big Ten championship game. Probably they probably need Indiana to lose twice, which would be tough. But um, yeah, actually, I don't think they can get in. But if Iowa does win out somehow, that throws them into the race for an at-large bid is what I'm trying to get at. So it does create good storylines. I think 12 is too many, but hey, it does probably overall increase the Gophers' odds of some take getting in this thing. So I guess we'll take it.
Yeah. And again, especially Notre Dame, like they can only play themselves out of the playoff, and they
Yeah.
we thought they did. And then I feel like there was a good point made earlier on after Notre Dame had their 2 losses. It was like they're kind of in the same spot as they were last year if they lost to Northern Illinois, and look what happened. Like they
Yeah.
just hung on, and they're a good team. They're very solid, and like I'm not saying they're not good, but
Yeah. I
it's
just
just
think there's
different
a top
rules. Like
right. I think there's a top 4 or 5 right now. And I think it is a little bit of a gap. I'm not saying it's impossible. And my top 4 or 5 is different than this. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible that Georgia could beat Ohio State. I don't think it's likely at this point with how both teams look. Same with like Ole Miss and that. Like not impossible. I think Indiana, Ohio State, and I would say A&M, Bama, and Oregon. Like I think they look that much. I think there's a gap after those teams personally, but It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love that Washington's ranked. I just they are the most up and down team. They look like they're top 12, and then they look like we don't know how to play offense anymore. That's how crazy they are.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
if if you took Washington's like playmakers and combine them with Michigan's line play, I think you'd have a really good team. But that's not how this works. Shall we move on, fellas, to the Sky U Pod Parlay of the Week? Which, hey, new rule recommendation change is that in overtime you have to kick the extra point, because if the Gophers just kick that extra point, I cover and I don't continue this miserable run on these locks. But I know mine's gonna hit this week. I know it for a fact. You want me to give it to you guys? You want the
Lay it
goods?
on us.
I'll give you the goods. Here it is. USC at home. I know Northwestern squad is tough. They're gritty. They're going out west on a Friday night. USC is 14.5 point favorites. I think USC means business, and they are all in on doing everything they can to make it to the college football playoff. They've been a different team at home this year. Northwestern's going to try and slow it down to make it ugly, but I do think that quarterback for USC is too good. He's going to buy time and put up too many points for Northwestern to cover. So give me USC covering at home against the Wildcats.
I like it. Yeah. That USC offense is pretty good. So I don't think I'm shocking anyone with that. I don't know why stuff like that reminds me of like it's like the financial advisor. He asked about stocks. He's like, yeah, I think Apple will do well. Like
Yeah.
USC's got a good offense. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go next. I'm just gonna go with the tried and true, the team that's playing really well. I know they're on the road, but I'm gonna take Texas A&M -6.5 at Missouri. I feel like Missouri might be wearing out a little bit. And
Coaching rumors are surrounding them.
the coaching rumors are surrounding, and there's no look ahead for Texas A&M. This is until Texas. Like after this week, they've got South Carolina and Samford, not Stanford, Samford, and then they go to Texas the last week of the season. So this is their last big ranked matchup. It is on the road, but I think A&M can get it done by more than a touchdown.
I like it.
All right. And for me, I thought long and hard about this, fellas, but I've kind of been infatuated with the bottom of the barrel teams recently just to see them go at it to try and get a win on the year. And this is a Power 5 rivalry on the ACC network. Florida State and Clemson. Clemson is a 2.5 point favorite at home. This is just to see who's the deadest dog, pretty much, in the ACC. This is a pride match. I'm going to go with the Seminoles, I think. I think they'll cover the 2.5. I don't know. I don't know who's more dead, but I'm counting on Clemson to be more dead. I do love Dabo, but I just think his time is over. Hey, maybe Norvell's is too, but they're both playing for their jobs and pride, the whole thing. Stay tuned on the ACC
Think of
network.
how big this game looked preseason.
Right.
Especially
And it's
after
on the
Florida State.
ACC network now. This was game day all over it, right?
I still
This
want
is
to
like this is like USC Michigan being on Big Ten Network.
Right.
I kind of still want to watch this game.
Right.
Well, you will if you want to win that parlay of the week.
Yeah.
Yep. I like that one, Spence. I like it.
It was hard. I like the game. I'm worried about the pick.
Clemson's lost 6 straight home games.
Yeah, I know.
To Power
That's
4
true.
opponents.
Clemson, I think, has like all their wins, seems like, on the road.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
Clemson is my one pick.
Spencer knew that
this year. That's right.
Well, you got two. You got. I swear you had two.
I don't think
I have this
so.
in front of me. You had A&M against Florida.
Oh yes, 2.
You went back to back.
That's right.
The week
I've had some
before you went back to back,
heartbreakers.
you had Florida State.
Oh yeah. That game.
But that doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what's funny? That was Virginia, right? Another
That was
game where
Virginia.
Virginia looked like they were going to get boat raced, but Florida State kept making mistakes, and then the complete opposite happened. They just ran it all over Florida State. That was a great game, actually. As far as looking back over the college football season so far, but yeah, man, we went an hour and 17. We were thinking of adding more topics, but I think we'll end it here, fellas.
Yeah. Well, let's throw some games out quick. We have time for that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Games. Starting in the Big Ten, your pick, Kurt. Northwestern at USC. USC is 14.5. Let's go USC. I'm not gonna go
Right
against
on.
that.
Yeah.
Good juju. Friday night game. Sticking around in the Big Ten, Indiana is on the road at Penn State. They're giving Indiana 15.5. Give me the Hoosiers, man. They're on fire.
Yeah, Indiana. I took Penn State last week thinking they'd show some fight. They did early, but when Ohio State turned it on, they had no answer. So I'll take Indiana.
Yeah, I just don't think Penn State is going to be able to do much. They're going to try and run the ball, but I think Indiana's defense is pretty dang good, obviously. So I'm with you. I'm taking the Hoosiers.
Right on.
Another game that was
all right, now jumping over to the Big 12, probably one of the best matchups this weekend. BYU is at Texas Tech. They're giving Texas Tech 9.5 points. I think I got to go BYU. That seems like a lot. I don't know, but Vegas, I don't know. I'm just going to go BYU.
I'm going to take
the Red BYU Raiders as well.
Oh, okay. So we got 2 for 1. We got some differences. They got their starting quarterback back, and listen, when they were rolling with him early before he got dinged up, it was not even close. And people were like, wow, they've separated themselves from everyone else. So I'm just going to go on that. And the line's bigger than I thought it was. So maybe Vegas knows. That's kind of what I'm going with here. I feel like I've gotten a lot of Big 12 games wrong this year when we picked them. So I don't know. We'll go with Texas Tech.
Yeah. BYU seems to be that team that just they haven't let up really yet.
Yeah.
All right. Going to the SEC, Texas A&M. They're at Missouri. They're giving Texas A&M 6.5 points. I'm gonna have to stick with Texas A&M on this one, fellas.
This is Max's
lock,
right? Yeah. So we're all going.
Oh, who'd you pick?
A&M.
He picked A&M.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, back to the Big Ten. I thought about picking this one, fellas. Oregon at Iowa. Oregon's 5.5 points. I feel like Oregon's got that in the bag. I feel like that's not enough. I know Kinnick is tough and they'll be ready to play Oregon, but I just don't see it.
Here's the thing that I just learned today is that the over-under is plummeting because I think the weather's supposed to be pretty nasty. I think it's supposed to be a heavy rain game, which makes me – that plays to Iowa's strength. How does Iowa always get that? I don't – it feels like Iowa always gets that to work out in their favor. But, yeah, I'm curious because Iowa is just – they're going to line up and try and run right through them. And Indiana could do that a little bit to them. And so I'm just curious to see how this game goes. I'm with you, though. Since it's under the full touchdown mark, I'm going to go Ducks. Because they're going to stick it to Barons, that little cranky bastard.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oregon as well. I feel like the Indiana game is probably going to scare people, but like the Indiana against Iowa game, but I don't know that Iowa can do it again. And
I don't know. I think they're.
Oregon's just
I
spit.
think Iowa is disrespected, but also that Oregon.
More their
shit
offense.
is
Like, can their
bad.
offense really be explosive enough to like
No, we
keep it
keep saying that,
close?
and they keep scoring points on everybody.
It's true.
They literally
That's
keep scoring
true.
points on everybody. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. All right. And then lastly, we're heading down to the SEC for an old rivalry. LSU's on the road at Bama, giving Bama 9.5 points. I mean, it's got to be
oh
Bama, right?
my.
Given the fact that they just fired Brian Kelly, they got no one there. They're on the road. Bama's been on fire.
Yeah.
Seems like a no-brainer,
I almost made this.
but it
pick.
always feels like that.
I really like Bama.
I really want to take LSU just as like the other players is going to play free now that they don't have Brian
No,
Kelly.
that's true. That's
If it was
true.
at-
he was just a negative
Right.
Nelly in there.
If it was at LSU, I'd probably take the Tigers, but I'm pretty sure their linebacker also is just like opted out. Their top linebackers just like quit. So we'll take Alabama.
Yeah. Right on. Well, that'll do it for a bye-week episode of Sky U Pod, kind of breaking down the Michigan State win and kind of looking at the remaining of the Golden Gopher football season. Looks like Curry's got a nice... Who was that? Nubin?
That's Tyler Nubin. Prison.
Nubin. Solid card.
Yeah.
Kurt, the card collector, they call him. If you have any vintage Golden Gopher cards, please reach out to Sky U Pod. We got a solid collection here, and we're just trying to build it. And yeah, that's awesome, Curdy. But thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of Sky U Pod. Please like and subscribe to our channel, which can be found on YouTube, X, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Be sure to check out our partners website, thecollegehuddle.com, for more podcasts and articles about all things college football. Thanks again, as always. Have a good night and go Gophers.